It doesn't.
Hi everybody, welcome back to UmattR TV. I'm your host, Emily Mizell, and I'm from Bloomfield High School, and I'm here with one of my team members.
I'm Liz, and I go to FHS.
And today we have some special guests, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Jack Fortner, and I was the chairman of the San Juan County Commission on December 31st. I finished my 4th term. I spent 7 years as the chairman different times, and then on January 1st, my wife, Terry Fortner, actually took my position. She was elected. So now I'm a private citizen.
And I'm John Beckstead. I'm currently on the San Juan County Commission. Was recently elected as the chairman for the commission. Born and raised here in San Juan County, and practice as an attorney here in town.
Okay, so our first question for you is, what does county government do?
Well, I'll answer that partly. The first thing the San Juan County does is they oversee the operations of the county government. They run the jail. They fund the sheriff's office, so they're handling public safety. They oversee the roads, the entertainment places like McGee Park for people who like to ride horses and go to rodeos, and just kind of general public safety. They run the dump, are in control of the trash areas and transfer stations throughout the county. So basically think of what the town does, what a city does of Farmington. This is for the county, generally in the county area outside city limits of the towns. John, you want to add anything?
They also oversee our volunteer firefighters.
Oh, yes.
Who are essential to our
Absolutely.
county. We have a lot of volunteers that are in our fire department, and they're always looking for more. So if you know of anybody who's interested in that area, let them know that there's always an opportunity to serve the community.
And that's really a good point, because a lot of people who are thinking that they might want to be a fireman, one of the best ways to do it is to start volunteering for the county, and you don't have to go through all the rigorous training yet to get a feel to see if that might be actually what you want to do.
Okay, our next question is, what is the county commissioner?
Well, a county commissioner, again, is the person that one of 5 commissioners, and they collectively oversee what happens in the county. And again, I always make an analogy to the city. There's a mayor and usually councilmen, and they hire a city manager, and then the city manager actually makes the day-to-day decisions. For the county, there are 5 commissioners. They hire a county manager, and he oversees the daily operations of the county, and he makes he does the hiring and the firings of people in administrative positions in the county. And then the county commission also sets the budget. They determine whether they're going to raise taxes or not. They're going to determine certain policies from construction things, even things involving noise ordinances, what have you. So think in terms, again, of what city government does that you may be familiar with, but we do that on the county level.
And to add to that, it's an elected position. So we each represent districts within San Juan County. My district is Kirtland and Fruitland, south of Highway 64, all the way up La Plata Highway, and the southwest corner of Farmington. So I represent all of the people in those areas, and I often get to interact with them if they're having problems or issues, or need advice about what to do if they have certain things going on. So we each represent all of the citizens within our district.
So is there essentially 5 districts in San Juan County?
There are 5 districts. There's generally Aztec down almost into Bloomfield, all the way up to the state line. There is Commissioner Sullivan's district is Bloomfield south onto the Navajo Nation, and it runs west, and then yours is
Primarily all the city limits of Farmington.
except for the southwest corner that I have, and I think District 1 is Shiprock and all the way down south along the highway down there.
Right. So 5 districts, every 2 years, 2 will run, the next 2 years, 3 will run. So they don't all run at the same time.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so our next question is, who is the chairman and kind of what do they do that's different than a regular commissioner?
Well, I was the chairman, and like I say, I had been the chairman. Actually, I was fortunate enough to set some kind of record for 7 different times. I was in for 8 years, then you're term limited. County offices are term limits. You can only serve 2 terms, and then you've got to stay out. So I ran in 1996 and 2000, served 2 terms, sat out 2 terms, then came back on. And the chairman, the first thing they do is they run the meetings. And the second thing they do is they really try and be collaborative with all the other commissioners, because none of the commissioners have more power than the other. They all have the equal say. It's just that that person is generally the person who is the figurehead, who does the interviews and speaks for the county. John?
And I've been the chairman now for a week and a half, I think. So not a lot of experience in it, but I look forward to serving as the chairman. You get to, as chairman, get to direct some of what the direction of the commission is going to go in. If there's any projects that you find important. One of the important projects that Chairman Fortner and Chairman Pro Tem Jim Crowley focused on this last year to 2 years is the mental health situation in San Juan County. And so that was a drive and a focus of the commission, and so you get to influence it a little bit if you have certain projects or you find something that is needed in the community. You can help the county investigate and look into those things.
Okay, our next question is, what advice can you give local students on getting through this?
You get through the pandemic?
Yeah.
Say this. Well, you know, that's a good question, and there's no easy answer because originally when this pandemic started back in March, we all thought that the closures were going to be for 2 weeks, and then we thought that the closures were only going to last until there was herd immunity, and you know, an easy way to say what herd immunity is that everyone either gets vaccinated or has it, enough population that you can no longer spread it. There's nobody else to spread it to. And we're nowhere close to that. There's still hundreds of thousands of people in New Mexico that haven't got it, and there's more than that who haven't been immunized. So what I would say is think in terms of the long-term picture, because there's not going to be an immediate solution. I personally don't think restaurants are going to reopen or things are going to have a major change until June, because by that time the vaccine will have been available to a lot of New Mexicans, and so you've got to figure out a way, because this is an easy time to be isolated, to feel isolated, and to feel a sense of hopelessness. And so, we are made to be social human beings. And so to overcome that sense of isolation, that means you got to do a lot of FaceTime, in your small group, whether it's 3 to 5 people, whether it's your church small group, whether it's a sports small group, a political small group, you still have to have some interaction. And so, and then again, just know that things will get better. And
frankly, I couldn't imagine being in high school right now. you know, I think back to my high school self and I cringe because I don't think I would be that successful at school online. I just don't think that I'm built that way. And I'm sure you have friends that are having issues and trouble with school being online. And, you know, you really need to depend on each other. If you know of somebody that's struggling, you need to reach out to them, because the only way that we're going to get through this is together, and to try to find everybody that is having a hard time and to help them out. Again, you're both seniors in high school, and you know, it's nobody else on this planet has gone through what you guys are going through your senior year, and you know, you guys are strong, and you know, just look out for each other.
And here's something else I would say. You have to acknowledge and accept the fact that you have been cheated. You've been cheated out of your sports events. You've been cheated out of whether it's a concert, whether it's a prom, going to sports. You have been cheated. You have a right to be angry about it. And then you put the anger past you and say, you know, as long as you acknowledge the reality of it and don't be in denial, it's also a way to move past it emotionally.
Right, so kind of going along with that, is there like a way that we can stay busy and stay connected to our community and kind of serve during this time?
Well, I think you guys are doing a great job of it right now. I mean, you have put yourself out there to promote healthy living. You know, what your goal is to avoid alcohol, tobacco, substances, and to be role models to our littles in our community. And so I think you guys have it. You know, you guys know the importance of serving and to reaching out to the community. There's always somewhere where you can serve, whether it's a neighbor, whether it's a friend in high school that's struggling. You know, there's always somewhere to serve. You just have to look for it. And you know, there's always the saying of service above self and those things. But you know, it's true. If you're actively serving other people, you often forget about your own problems. And you know, like I said earlier, it's all about staying together and helping each other.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And you know, find you know, in life, you usually have 2 or 3 really good friends. And I say you use those friends to be encouragers to you, and you be encouragers to them. And you know, you can't cut off social interaction. So you got to figure out who's practicing safe habits. Are they wearing a mask? Are they distancing? And you know, I personally believe that the requirements are too strict. For instance, if people are allowed to go to the movies, I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go anyway. If everyone was allowed to go to the restaurants, open restaurants, I would go, but I would be safe. And so I think we have to think in terms of we've got to move forward, we've got to figure out we have to be prepared.
Okay, our next question is, do you have any success stories about our community?
Yeah, I mean, John, you want to, or?
Well, I think that we would want to look at, you know, the most recent thing that the commission has done, and that's the mental health initiative that the county has gone on. We saw that there were certain areas that the county lacked in helping people with mental health issues, and the commission paid for, and there was a study that identified all the gaps in the services that people need. And we just recently, in January, or was it the end of December, we've just recently opened a mental health, what is the name of it? The Mental Health
Resource Center.
Resource Center. For people that have those issues, they can go there and learn what assets we do have in the county and where to get help. So that's probably the most recent success story of what we've done. And
you know, and I'll say another one. The city and the county working together are doing 2 major things, and one of them is PNM wants to close our power plant, and that's 1,500 jobs or more. And the city, in working with the county, are trying to figure out a way to keep the power plant open. And so we're working together to help a company called Enchant Energy see if there's a way to do what's called carbon capture and sequestration of carbon dioxide. And if they're able to do that, that plant stays open, it saves 1,500 jobs, and our economy will keep going. Another major thing that we did on the commission is we recently entered into an agreement with the Navajo Nation that says we have a right of way to see if we can build a railroad through the Navajo Reservation to connect to perhaps in Gallup or where would be the place?
Along the I-40 corridor,
Along the I-40
Thoreau, or in
corridor.
Gallup.
And so that we're trying to recruit a company that would, it's called a petrochemical plant. And if that plant was to come to San Juan County, it would be a $6 billion project. And it would be 6,000 jobs during construction, and then around 600 to 700 permanent jobs. If that happened, it would be a total game changer in the economy of Farmington and San Juan County. And so we've really made progress that way. And then the final thing we've done, again working with the city, is we're really trying to make this place an outdoor attraction. Some of you may mountain bike, go for walks, ride four-wheelers, ride horses. And so these trails that we're trying to improve, from the Riverwalk to boat launches to marking the trails, we're trying to become more attractive than Moab, Utah. A lot of people always talk about going to Moab to go four-wheeling or mountain bike. And I think we're making a lot of progress in there. Do you think, John?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's important to know, though, that government, it doesn't move super fast. Like the study with for the railroad, we're at the study phase of that. We've secured funding for there to be a study to determine the best route, the best way to do it. A lot of people expect things to happen overnight. Things don't happen overnight with the government. It moves really slow, and but there's a purpose behind that. It makes sure that the decisions that are being made are what everybody wants, and ultimately to benefit the community.
So you guys talked about mental health, and as UmattR, we're trying to set good examples for kids who are maybe going through hard times. So what other issues do you see in our community?
Well, one for me, I'm a practicing attorney here in Farmington, and I focus mainly on criminal defense with some other areas of practice. But one of the things that I noticed is I would estimate 80 to 90% of my cases involve some form of substance abuse. And it's something that we need to focus on, because if 80 to 90% of my cases involve that, if we were able to reach or help some of those individuals, you're always going to have a certain segment of the population that are going to commit crimes. But if there's another segment that is that we're able to keep from doing those types of things because of their substance issues, then I think that that's something that we need to focus on. I know that we have some treatment facilities here in San Juan County. The county ourselves, we have a program, the 28-day program and the Access program. But there need to be more. There needs to be more access to that. There needs to be more of a focus on that. And I think that would be a great way to benefit and help our community.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And I think there's obviously an alcohol problem. And here's the thing. It's socially acceptable to drink and drive. Your parents probably know people who have a drink and drive. And then it's not socially acceptable, though, to drink and drive and get caught. And so once you drink and drive, but then you get caught, then everyone goes, oh, why in the world would you have done that? When they perhaps have done it themselves. So I think there needs to be more education on the issue of drinking and driving. That's one of the things, because along with the mental health initiative, a lot of times people self-medicate. That means they're feeling depressed, and what do? You drink alcohol, which is a depressant, it makes you more depressed, or they do a drug that is a stimulant that gets them up temporarily, or a drug like marijuana that's more of a depressant, and they become more depressed. So those are the issues that still need to be addressed: mental health, drugs, and drinking and driving. So.
Do you guys have any questions for us?
Hey, my daughter was in UmattR, and I think it's a great program. And you've got two people who are really, you're very fortunate to have these folks helping you with this program. And, the thing that I liked about it was you're able to go into the schools. So you haven't been able to do that, so have you had an opportunity to still work with, kids in elementary school?
We've had a couple opportunities. I'll talk about some of them, and I'll let Liz talk about some of the other ones. One thing that we've done multiple times is we've gone to parks and we've played kickball. Oh, okay. And every time we've done it, I think we've done it 3 times, 2 or 3 times. But every time we've had more kids come out. So it's become a bigger success the more that we do it. So hopefully we'll be able to do some more of those when it gets a little bit warmer outside and when our restrictions go down a little bit more.
We've also been able to do some meet and greets at some of our sponsors' restaurants. Oh, okay. And so we've been able to meet kids that way, but we haven't, obviously been interacting with the kids as much as we want. It's been tough not being able to go to the elementary schools and really interact.
And then let me ask one other question. If the governor opens schools, would you feel comfortable going back to school tomorrow?
Personally, I would feel comfortable going back to school, but I don't know that I would.
Okay.
I enjoy the online aspect just because I get my school done in the morning and then I have the rest of the day to go do. I work. I volunteer at the animal shelter in Aztec. So I just feel like I have more opportunities to better myself when I'm doing online. I know a lot of people think a lot differently, but that's just me personally.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me it's kind of the opposite. I was kind of happy when school got out. It's like, no school. But it's been really tough not having the social aspect. And so I think that I would be comfortable going to school tomorrow just because I think the social is just as important.
And would you, if you went back to school, would you wear a mask?
Yes, if it was mandatory, I'd wear a mask.
Good.
Yeah.
John?
I was just going to ask, what ways has the pandemic affected your lives?
I just think the biggest, again, is just social. I'm not able to. It's my senior year. I haven't been able to go to games or hang out with friends like I'd want to. And so it's been kind of a bummer year. I haven't been able to do the things I was planning on since I entered high school as a freshman. And so it's just been hard that way. And the education isn't as well as I'd like since it's over Zoom and the teachers aren't used to it. So I just feel kind of, like you said, cheated that I didn't get to do that. But there's also upsides. I have more time to spend with my family, and yeah, it's been nice to do some of that.
Same along the lines with Liz, but you go into high school and you're your first day of freshman year, you're so excited, and then get into your sophomore year and you just go along, and then it's like junior year hits. It's like that's when everything's supposed to happen. You're supposed to be generally on a varsity team. If you play sports, you're supposed to be pretty top of the line at the school because you're an upperclassman now. You get prom. You get all these things that when you're a lowerclassman you didn't get. So I feel like missing out on pretty much half of our junior year, and then most likely all of our senior year, is probably one of the biggest impacts it's had on me, because I won't get to tell my kids, oh, prom was so fun, because I never had one.
Right.
I won't get to tell them, my senior year of volleyball, this is what we did because I didn't get to have one. Like, that's probably the biggest thing. But it's also helped me. I've got more opportunities that I get to do and that I've done. Like I said, I get to volunteer at the animal shelter twice a week. I don't think I would have necessarily done that had I been in school.
If either one of you, you know, there are some people, especially it happens more with male athletes, they do what's called reclassify. So they can actually have a 5th year of high school and continue their competition. If you had the opportunity to do another senior year, would you, or would you just say, okay, I'm done, I'm ready to do the next level?
I don't think I'd do another senior year.
Okay.
It's definitely been different, but I mean, it's still my senior year. It's
Right.
something I'll always remember.
Right.
It's different than any other. So I would just like to move on, and it happened, but life goes on.
So you're eager for the next step.
Yeah.
How about you, Emily?
Same with me. I know there's talk about us playing sports coming up, but it's like my mind is past that. My mind is on to moving on with my life, going to college,
Okay.
doing other experiences outside of high school, and it's like, do I really want to play? I'll still play if we do have a season, but I'm past it now.
Right.
I'm ready to move on. I'm
Wow.
ready to move on from my senior year because it's kind of been a bummy year, but
Yeah. Yeah,
It is what it
You know,
is.
those stories that your parents used to tell about having to walk to school in the snow barefoot, uphill, backwards. These COVID stories are going to be actually better.
Yeah.
for sure. All right, anything else?
No, thank you. We really enjoy UmattR and enjoyed supporting it.
Yeah, we really appreciate and we're grateful for the sponsorship and the support you give to our community. And I think we're happy that you guys could come today. It was really nice talking to you guys and learning a little bit about what happens and what goes on in our community. So that's it. I'll go ahead and sign us out. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of UmattR TV. I'm Emily, your host, and I hope you guys enjoyed this segment, and I will see you next time.